The massive alien ships appeared in Earth's sky on a quiet Tuesday morning. Their sleek, crystalline vessels cast strange shadows over major cities worldwide. Humanity held its breath, watching as these celestial visitors positioned themselves strategically around the globe. Commander Thomas stood at the United Nations emergency meeting, his weathered face grim as he studied the holographic displays showing the alien fleet's positions. Representatives from every nation filled the chamber, their usual political differences forgotten in the face of this unprecedented situation. "They're hailing us on all frequencies," reported Admiral Wilson, her eyes fixed on the data streams flowing across her tablet. "The message is being automatically translated." The alien transmission echoed through the chamber. "Attention, primitive species of Sol 3. We are the representatives of the Galactic Council. Your world has been selected for integration into our protectorate system. Resistance is inadvisable." The chamber erupted in muttered conversations and concerned whispers. The aliens' tone was not what humanity had hoped for in their first contact scenario. A second message followed. "Your species has been observed and deemed insufficiently advanced for full membership status. Accept our guidance, and we will elevate you gradually over the next 1,000 years." Commander Thomas exchanged looks with General Martinez. Both military leaders had spent their careers preparing for various first contact scenarios, but the condescending tone of these aliens set off warning bells. The Council's primary vessel descended toward the designated meeting point in Geneva. Their ambassador, a tall being with iridescent skin and multiple eyes, strode into the United Nations with an air of superiority that immediately raised hackles among the human delegates. "We have reviewed your civilization's achievements," the ambassador announced, its translator converting its musical language into English. "Your reliance on fossil fuels, your ongoing conflicts, and your limited space presence indicate you require extensive supervision." President Anderson, representing the North American Alliance, stepped forward. "With all due respect, we would prefer to maintain our independence while establishing diplomatic relations." The ambassador's multiple eyes blinked in what appeared to be amusement. "You misunderstand. This is not a negotiation. The Council has made its decision. We require your immediate surrender of all military assets and governance systems." In the back of the chamber, Commander Thomas quietly activated his secure communicator. "Initialize Protocol Omega," he whispered. Throughout the solar system, hidden installations began powering up, their existence unknown to the alien sensors above. The ambassador continued listing demands. Earth would be required to dismantle 90% of its military forces, accept council governors in all major cities, and provide resources for council operations. Each new requirement caused more anger among the human delegates. During a brief recess, the world's military and political leaders gathered in a secure bunker beneath the UN building. The room was shielded against all known forms of surveillance, a technology humanity had perfected but kept hidden. "They think we're primitive," General Martinez stated, spreading out tactical displays. "They haven't detected our quantum shield networks or the bases on Mars and Europa. We've been preparing for this possibility for decades." President Anderson nodded gravely. "How ready are we really?" Commander Thomas activated a hidden display showing Earth's true military capabilities. "We've got particle beam platforms disguised as communication satellites, antimatter weapons hidden in what they think are primitive space stations, and our AI defense systems are generations ahead of what we've shown to the world." "The question is," Admiral Wilson interjected, "do we submit to their demands, or do we show them exactly how primitive we aren't?" The decision didn't take long. Humanity had not come this far, had not survived countless challenges and evolved to reach the stars, only to be enslaved by the first advanced civilization they encountered. As the Council ambassador returned to continue its speech, it noticed something different in the humans' demeanor. Their previous fear and awe had been replaced by something else: determination. "We have considered your demands," President Anderson announced, her voice steady, "and we have a response prepared." The ambassador's translator must have missed something in her tone because it continued to look smugly confident. It had no way of knowing that humanity's hidden fleet was about to demonstrate why Earth's species had survived countless extinction events to become the apex predator of their world. The game of pretending to be primitive was about to end, and the Galactic Council would learn a harsh lesson about judging species by their apparent technological level rather than their true capabilities. Deep beneath the ice sheets of Antarctica, a massive facility hummed to life. Banks of quantum computers activated as technicians prepared Earth's most sophisticated defense network. Captain Robert watched as holographic displays showed similar installations awakening across the planet and throughout the solar system. "Status report," he commanded, his voice echoing through the control center. "All systems operational." "Sir," Lieutenant Anna responded, her fingers dancing across multiple control panels. "The shield generators are powering up exactly as designed. The aliens still haven't detected our energy signatures." For 30 years, humanity had maintained this elaborate deception. While the world's governments publicly squabbled over minor resources and showed off relatively primitive space technology, they had secretly united to prepare for this very day. On Mars, hidden beneath the red dust of Valles Marineris, Colonel James supervised the activation of the planet's defense grid. Massive doors opened in the canyon walls, revealing rows of advanced fighter craft that had never been logged in any public record. "Begin launching sequence," he ordered. "Keep them cloaked until we receive the signal." The fighters rose silently, their quantum stealth systems making them invisible to both conventional sensors and the naked eye. They took up positions around Mars, ready to catch any retreating council ships in a deadly crossfire. Meanwhile, in the asteroid belt, Commander Lisa oversaw the final preparations of humanity's most devastating weapons. What the Council's scans registered as simple mining operations were actually massive rail-gun platforms, capable of accelerating projectiles to near-light speed. "All missile silos report ready," her assistant confirmed. "Antimatter warheads are primed and stabilized." The Council had made a critical mistake in their assessment of Earth. They had seen the pollution, the visible conflicts, the seemingly primitive space stations, and assumed they were seeing the full picture. They hadn't realized these were carefully maintained facades. In the Kuiper Belt, Earth's true space fleet waited in the shadows. Admiral Peters stood on the bridge of the EDS Defender, humanity's first true capital ship. Its existence had been hidden from Earth's own population, let alone any alien observers. "Engineering reports quantum drives at full capacity," his second-in-command reported. "All ships in the fleet confirm battle readiness." The fleet represented humanity's greatest achievement, ships powered by zero-point energy, armed with weapons that could tear apart the fabric of space itself, and protected by shields that could withstand the heart of a sun. Back on Earth, in a secure facility beneath the Pacific Ocean, Dr. Emma monitored the global ag defense network. Unlike the primitive AI that humanity showed to the world, these systems were true artificial intelligences, capable of calculating and responding to threats faster than any organic being. "The prediction models are ready," she announced to her team. "The AIs have calculated every possible Council attack pattern and prepared countermeasures." In orbit, what appeared to be simple communications satellites began subtle transformations. Panels shifted, revealing advanced weapon systems that had lain dormant for years. The Council ships didn't notice as hundreds of targeting systems locked onto their positions. President Anderson stood in the Global Command Center, surrounded by holographic displays showing all of humanity's hidden assets. The room itself was a testament to human ingenuity, built using technology that supposedly wouldn't exist for centuries. "Have the Council ships detected any of our activities?" she asked. General Martinez shook his head. "Their scans are still focused on our decoy installations. They're completely blind to our real capabilities." On screens around the room, more reports flooded in. Quantum communication networks linking all of Earth's hidden facilities. Plasma cannon arrays emerging from beneath the ocean's surface. Defensive shields stretching across entire continents, ready to activate at a moment's notice. This was humanity's true face, not the squabbling, primitive species the Council thought they knew, but a unified, technologically advanced civilization that had spent decades preparing for this moment. As the Council ambassador continued making demands in Geneva, humanity's leaders shared knowing looks. Soon, very soon, the aliens would learn the true cost of underestimating Earth. The arsenal they had built in secret was about to change the balance of power in the galaxy forever. The only question that remained was who would fire the first shot. The Council ships made their move at dawn. Their flagship positioned itself above New York City, its weapon systems charging with a menacing hum that echoed through the skyscrapers below. Your time for compliance has expired. The Council ambassador's message boomed across all communication channels. We will now demonstrate the consequence of defiance. In the Global Command Center, President Anderson's expression remained calm as she gave the order everyone had been waiting for. Activate Defense Grid. Show them what humanity is truly capable of. The first shot from the Council flagship never reached its target. A shimmering energy barrier materialized above New York, absorbing the alien weapon's blast completely. The Council ships paused, their sensors suddenly registering energy readings that shouldn't have been possible from a primitive world. Shield network holding at 100%. Lieutenant Anna reported from Antarctica base. They're recalibrating their weapons for another strike. Commander Thomas allowed himself a small smile. Initiate countermeasures. Let's give them a proper Earth welcome. What happened next would be recorded in galactic history as the moment everything changed. The seemingly primitive satellites around Earth transformed, revealing advanced weapon systems that had been hiding in plain sight. Quantum-based energy beams lanced out from dozens of platforms simultaneously. The Council shift shields, designed to handle conventional weapons, offered little resistance against Earth's advanced technology. 3 escort vessels exploded before their crews could even register what was happening. Impossible. The Council Admiral's shock transmission echoed through the command center. Their weapons, they're using quantum phase technology. President Anderson's voice was steel as she addressed the alien fleet. This is your only warning. Withdraw from Earth space immediately, or face the consequences of your aggression. Instead of retreating, the Council flagship launched its fighter squadrons. They streaked toward Earth's atmosphere, expecting an easy victory against what they thought would be primitive human defenses. Activate the AI defense grid. Dr. Emma commanded from her underwater facility. The true power of Earth's artificial intelligence system revealed itself as it took control of thousands of countermeasure platforms. The alien fighters found themselves caught in a deadly dance. Earth's AI predicted their every move, adjusting defensive fire faster than any organic pilot could react. Fighters began exploding by the dozens, their advanced technology proving worthless against humanity's superior combat systems. From hidden bases across the planet, Earth's own fighters took to the sky. What the Council had dismissed as atmospheric aircraft were actually space-capable fighters with technology far beyond anything they had expected to encounter. Multiple direct hits on the Council flagship, reported Admiral Wilson. Their shields are failing. The Council Admiral's voice had lost its arrogance. This is impossible. You're supposed to be primitive. How did you hide all this? In response, humanity activated their orbital defense platforms. Particle beams and plasma weapons converged on the remaining Council ships. The aliens' supposedly superior vessels began falling from the sky, their hulls breached by weapons they hadn't believed possible for humans to possess. Council flagship attempting emergency jump, Lieutenant Anna announced. Permission to disable their drive. President Anderson nodded. Granted. They need to carry our message back to their superiors. A precisely targeted quantum beam struck the flagship's engines. The massive vessel shuddered in orbit, its escape attempt thwarted by technology it had never encountered before. To the Galactic Council, President Anderson broadcast, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's united strength. Your attack on Earth has failed. Your assumptions about our civilization were fatally flawed. Consider this a demonstration of what happens to those who threaten our world. The remaining Council ships, their hulls scared and their pride shattered, began a hasty retreat. They left behind the burning wreckage of their fighters and support vessels, a testament to the price of underestimating humanity. In the command center, Earth's leaders watched the aliens flee. They knew this was only the beginning. The Council would return with a larger force, but now they knew that humanity was far from the primitive species they had assumed. The element of surprise had been spent, but it had been worth it. In a single battle, humanity had announced its true presence on the galactic stage, and the message was clear. Earth was not to be trifled with. The Council's main armada arrived 2 weeks later. 500 warships emerged from hyperspace, their massive forms darkening the space between Mars and Jupiter. This was the hammer the Council used to crush rebellious worlds, a force that had never known defeat. Admiral Peter watched from the bridge of the EDS Defender as his sensors tracked the incoming fleet. "They'd brought exactly what we expected," he noted. "Time to spring the trap." The Council Admiral's message was brief. "Surrender your world, or we will reduce your civilization to ash." Hidden throughout the asteroid belt, humanity's defense platforms powered up. What the Council saw as simple mining operations revealed their true nature. Massive railguns swiveled into position, their barrels glowing with contained energy. Commander Lisa gave the order from her asteroid base. "All platforms, execute Pattern Alpha. Show them how humans wage war." The rail guns fired simultaneously. Thousands of projectiles, accelerated to near-light speed, tore through space. The Council fleet's formation broke apart as ships tried desperately to evade. Those hit by the hypervelocity rounds simply ceased to exist, their shields useless against kinetic energy at that speed. "Enemy fleet is splitting up," reported Lieutenant Anna from Earth. "They're trying to avoid concentrated fire." This was exactly what humanity had planned for. From their hidden bases in the Kuiper Belt, Earth's true space navy emerged. Led by the EDS Defender, 100 ships powered by zero-point energy engines moved to encircle the scattered Council fleet. "Launch fighters," Admiral Peter commanded. "Execute Combat Pattern Delta 7. Human fighters swarmed from carrier ships, their quantum drives allowing maneuvers that the Council's pilots had never encountered. They didn't fight like conventional spacecraft. They fought like Earth's aerial predators, aggressive and unpredictable. The Council Admiral's voice betrayed growing panic. What kind of warfare is this? Their tactics make no sense. Indeed, humanity fought unlike any species the Council had encountered. While other races relied on formal battle formations and traditional space combat doctrine, humans drew upon thousands of years of warfare evolution. From Mars base, Colonel James deployed his special surprise, releasing the drone swarms. Millions of combat drones, each smaller than a human fist, emerged from hidden bases across Mars. They overwhelmed the Council's point defense systems through sheer numbers, boring into capital ships like mechanical insects. "Their ships are breaking formation," reported Commander Lisa. "They're losing cohesion." The Council fleet had never faced an enemy that attacked from so many directions with such varied tactics. Their rigid military doctrine proved useless against humanity's adaptive warfare. President Anderson watched the battle unfold from Earth's command center. Activate the quantum disruptors. This was humanity's masterstroke. Devices hidden on captured asteroids activated, creating zones where faster-than-light travel became impossible. The Council's fleet found itself trapped, unable to retreat. Their flagship is attempting to coordinate a counterattack. Admiral Wilson reported. "Shall we demonstrate our heavy weapons?" President Anderson nodded. "Show them what Earth science can really do." The EDS Defender moved into position. Its main weapon, powered by a miniature artificial sun, fired a beam of concentrated plasma that cut through 3 Council capital ships like paper. Impossible. The Council Admiral's transmission was filled with static. "No species at your development stage should have this technology." Humanity's response came as their ships closed in from all sides. Ships that could outmaneuver anything in the Council's fleet, weapons that ignored conventional defenses, and tactics that broke every rule of space combat, the Council knew. The battle lasted 6 hours. When it ended, the pride of the Council's navy was in ruins. Broken ships littered the space between Mars and Jupiter, a graveyard of alien vessels that had learned too late not to underestimate Earth. Admiral Peters stood on his bridge, surveying the aftermath. "Send word to Earth. The Sol system is secure." The message that returned was brief. "Prepare for Phase 2. It's time to take the fight to them." The battle for Sol had ended in humanity's victory. But it was only the beginning. Earth had shown the galaxy that they weren't just ready to defend themselves. They were ready to reshape the galactic order itself. The Council's survivors limped home, carrying with them a terrifying message. Humanity didn't just fight wars. They revolutionized them. The Council worlds never expected to be attacked. For millennia, they had been the aggressors, never the defenders. That changed when humanity's fleet appeared in their home systems. Admiral Peters stood on the bridge of the EDS Defender as it emerged from quantum space above the Council's capital world. "Begin broadcast on all frequencies," he ordered. "Let's give them a taste of their own medicine." His message echoed across the alien world. "Attention, Council species. Your time as the galaxy's self-appointed rulers has ended. Surrender your military installations or face Earth's judgment." The Council's orbital defenses activated, only to find their targeting systems corrupted. Dr. Emma's AI had infiltrated their networks weeks ago, planted by the microscopic drones that had escaped during the Battle of Sol. "Their defense grid is compromised," Lieutenant Anna reported from her station. "Their ships are trying to launch, but the dock clamps won't release." President Anderson watched the operation from Earth's command center. "Commence precision strikes. Remember, we're not here for destruction. We're here to dismantle their ability to bully other species." Earth's ships moved with surgical precision. Quantum beams disabled military installations while leaving civilian areas untouched. This wasn't the wholesale destruction the Council expected. It was something more sophisticated. Council ships attempting to rally at their secondary bases, Commander Lisa reported from her tactical station. "They still haven't realized we've mapped all their hidden facilities." Indeed, humanity's stealth vessels had spent weeks cataloging every Council military asset. While the Council reeled from their defeat at Sol, Earth had been preparing for this moment. The Council's emergency transmission was frantic. "How did they find our hidden bases?" "Those locations are known only to the highest levels of command." They didn't realize that human intelligence gathering methods exceeded anything they had encountered. While they looked for electronic spying, they missed the genetically engineered microscopic organisms that had infiltrated their command centers through the air itself. "Multiple Council member species are requesting to negotiate," reported Admiral Wilson. "They're turning against their leadership." The Council's carefully maintained power structure was crumbling. Species that had been kept in check through military might now saw an opportunity for freedom. Earth's precise, strategic strikes had shown them a different way of wielding power. Colonel James led the ground assault teams, using powered armor that the Council had never seen before. "Their troops are standing down," he reported. "They've never faced infantry that can move faster than their tracking systems." The Council's military doctrine, unchanged for centuries, proved useless against human tactics. While they expected large-scale battles, humanity struck at command and control centers with small, elite teams. "Their central defense network is offline," Dr. Emma announced from her command post. "Our AI has full control of their systems." In just 3 days, humanity had accomplished what no species had managed in thousands of years. They had broken the Council's military power, not through overwhelming force, but through superior strategy, technology, and intelligence. "We're receiving surrender signals from multiple Council facilities," Lieutenant Anna reported. "Their command structure is falling apart." President Anderson's voice carried across all channels. "To all Council species, we did not come to conquer. We came to end your tyranny. Your choice now is simple. Join us in building a better galaxy, or fade into irrelevance. The response was immediate. Several council member species denounced their leadership, revealing centuries of corruption and oppression. The carefully maintained image of council's superiority shattered. Admiral Peter watched from his bridge as council ships began powering down their weapons. Send word to Earth. Phase 3 can begin. The counter-invasion had succeeded beyond expectations. Humanity had not just defeated the Council, they had changed the entire balance of power in the galaxy. Their victory wasn't just military, it was philosophical. As Earth's ships secured their objectives, the message spread across the galaxy. A new power had emerged, one that fought not for dominance, but for change. The era of Council supremacy was over. The galaxy watched in amazement as humanity accomplished in days what others had thought impossible for millennia. The species that the Council had dismissed as primitive had just rewritten the rules of galactic warfare. The Grand Council Chamber, once a symbol of absolute power, now echoed with chaos. Representatives from hundreds of species argued as the old order crumbled around them. At the center of the storm stood Commander Thomas, Earth's chosen diplomat. For thousands of years, his voice cut through the noise. You've hidden the truth from the galaxy. Today that ends. On massive screens throughout the chamber, Dr. Emma's AI systems displayed proof of the Council's corruption. Secret files, hidden transactions, and classified orders revealed centuries of systematic oppression. Look at what your leaders have done, Commander Thomas continued. They didn't protect the galaxy. They enslaved it. The evidence was damning. Footage showed Council forces destroying civilizations that refused to submit. Financial records revealed how they had stolen resources from protected worlds. The Council's perfect image shattered with each new revelation. My people were told we needed their protection. A representative from a younger species stood up. But they were really just exploiting us. More species began to speak out. The Council's carefully maintained hierarchy was collapsing as centuries of resentment burst forth. President Anderson watched from Earth as the revolution they had sparked spread across the galaxy. Their entire system was built on lies, Admiral Wilson observed. All it took was one species strong enough to expose the truth. In the Council's secure facilities, more secrets came to light. Lieutenant Anna's team discovered records of advanced technologies that had been suppressed to maintain Council superiority. They deliberately held back scientific progress, she reported. Any species that developed too quickly was branded as dangerous and destroyed. The Council's senior members tried to maintain control, but their authority was gone. Their military had been broken by Earth's forces, and their political power rested on secrets that were now exposed to the galaxy. We trusted them, another representative shouted. They claimed to be our protectors, but they were our jailers. Commander Thomas moved through the chamber, speaking with representatives from different species. Unlike the Council's intimidation tactics, humanity offered partnership and cooperation. Earth doesn't want to rule the galaxy, he explained. We want to help build a system where all species can progress freely. The Council's remaining loyalists made their final stand in the emergency session. Without our leadership, the galaxy will fall into chaos, they warned. But their threats fell on deaf ears. Too many species had seen the evidence of their corruption. Too many had suffered under their rule. Your time is over. President Anderson's message echoed through the chamber. The galaxy doesn't need rulers. It needs allies. As the Council's power crumbled, new alliances formed. Species that had been kept apart by Council decree discovered shared interests and compatible technologies. The artificial barriers between civilizations began to fall. Multiple systems are declaring independence from Council control, reported Colonel James. They're requesting Earth's assistance in establishing new governments. The Council's attempt to maintain control through force failed spectacularly. When they tried to deploy their remaining ships to suppress the rebellion, they found their own species turning against them. Your own people are rejecting you. Commander Thomas addressed the Council leaders. Surrender your authority peacefully, or watch it be taken from you. In the end, it wasn't Earth's military might that brought down the Council. It was the truth. Species that had been manipulated for millennia finally saw their oppressors exposed. The old Council is finished, President Anderson declared, but something better can rise from its ashes. As the day ended, the galaxy looked very different than it had that morning. The Council's iron grip on power had been broken, replaced by the first stirrings of true cooperation between species. Commander Thomas sent his final report to Earth, Phase 3 complete. The political reconstruction can begin. The galaxy was entering a new era. The Council's fall marked the end of millennia of suppression and the beginning of something unprecedented. A true partnership of species, with humanity helping to lead the way. The revolution wasn't won with weapons, but with truth. Earth had succeeded not just in defeating the Council, but in fundamentally changing how the galaxy would be governed. 1 year after the Council's fall, the Grand Chamber hosted a very different gathering. Representatives from across the galaxy met not as rulers and subjects, but as equals. President Anderson stood at the podium, addressing the assembled species. "Today, we forge a new path," she declared, "not through force or fear, but through cooperation and mutual respect." The new Galactic Assembly bore little resemblance to the old Council. Gone were the hierarchical tiers and enforced submission. In their place stood a system where every species had a voice. Commander Thomas, now serving as Earth's permanent representative, watched with pride as former enemies worked together. "The change in just 1 year is remarkable," he noted to Admiral Peter. "The most dramatic changes were technological. With the Council's restrictions lifted, species freely shared their innovations. Advances that had been suppressed for centuries now flourished in the open. The combined scientific output of member worlds has increased by 300%. Dr. Emma reported from her new position as head of the Interspecies Scientific Coalition. "We're seeing breakthroughs that would have been impossible under the old system." Earth's role had evolved too. Rather than becoming the new dominant power, humanity had chosen a different path. They served as mediators and advisors, helping younger species while learning from older ones. Another group of developing worlds has requested membership, Lieutenant Anna announced. "They say Earth's example showed them they don't have to choose between advancement and independence." The assembly chamber itself symbolized the new order. Where the Council had designed their chamber to intimidate, the new hall emphasized equality. Species that had once been relegated to the shadows now sat alongside their former oppressors. Trade between member worlds has doubled. Admiral Wilson reported, "When you remove artificial barriers, natural cooperation follows." The military situation had transformed as well. The massive fleets once used to enforce Council rule were replaced by a joint defense force, with ships and crews from multiple species working together. Colonel James, leading a training exercise with mixed species teams, smiled at their progress. "They fight better as allies than they ever did as enemies." President Anderson addressed the key issue that had brought them together. "The greatest threat to peace isn't our differences. It's the belief that one species must dominate others." Earth learned this lesson through our own history. The Assembly's first major crisis came when a previously unknown aggressive species attacked the outer systems. Instead of facing a fractured response, they met a unified defense force that combined the strengths of dozens of species. "This is what we built this alliance for," Commander Thomas observed as the joint fleet drove back the invaders. "Not conquest, but mutual protection." The former Council races, stripped of their artificial advantages, had found new roles. Their experience in galactic administration proved valuable when not coupled with oppression. "We're receiving applications from isolated species that want to join the Assembly," Lieutenant Anna reported. "Our reputation is spreading beyond known space." Dr. Emma's scientific exchanges had produced unprecedented advances. Combining different species' approaches to technology led to innovations that none could have achieved alone. "This is how civilization should advance," she explained to a group of young scientists from various worlds. "Not through competition, but through collaboration." President Anderson's final address to the Assembly captured the spirit of the new era. 1 year ago, Earth stood alone against tyranny. Today, we stand together with allies across the galaxy. We've proved that unity doesn't require uniformity, and that strength doesn't mean suppression. The galaxy had entered a new age. The old council's monuments were being transformed into museums, reminders of a time when fear ruled the stars. In their place rose new symbols of cooperation and shared progress. Commander Thomas sent his final report of the day. The transition is complete. The galaxy is changing in ways we never imagined possible. As ships from dozens of species moved peacefully through space that had recently seen war, the truth became clear. Earth's greatest victory hadn't been defeating the Council. It had been showing the galaxy a better way forward. The stars looked different now, full of possibility rather than threat. Humanity had changed the course of galactic history, not by becoming the most powerful, but by becoming the most collaborative. The new era had begun, and it promised to be more extraordinary than anyone had imagined.